my swim time. Gonna bust up your behind. This is my swim time. Gonna mess up your whole mind. This is my swim time. Gonna bust up your behind. This is my swim time. Gonna mess up your whole mind.
Welcome to Work the Left Side. I am hyper hyped for tonight's guest. It is the returning Supersonic Sammy Blue. Dude, how are we doing?
I'm doing good. It's nice to be back on. Obviously, as we were talking about before, it's been a hot minute since I've been on the show. Obviously, look completely different, and I feel like I am a completely different person. Like in the past year, like my journey, mad. Oh, thank you, thank you, dude.
I'll tell you what's crazy. Like I say, we was talking for a bit before obviously hit record and stuff, and it doesn't seem like yesterday that we last spoke. But then when I think about it, like you said, it seems like a lifetime because like so much stuff has happened. Like last time we spoke, I don't even think I was watching BlackHeart. I don't even think I'd seen you in action through there. Obviously, I just kind of knew you as somebody that Pete was like, oh, you need to talk to this guy. This guy's awesome. He trains at the temple. His boss. Give him a chat. And I was like, yeah, cool. And it seems like after I spoke to you, it's kind of like it's like one of those visual effects kind of things. Like as soon as I spoke to you, as soon as I saw you, you kind of popped up everywhere. And I was like, okay, now I can see you everywhere that I'm looking, kind of thing. It's like, that's cool.
Yeah, I'm getting about nowadays. I'm a very busy man, so it seems. It's like feels like you talk to me even like pre BlackHeart Unleashed, and now obviously Unleashed has ended, like the weekly show. So yeah, I know that I'm sad too. Trust me, I'm sad. It was great, like making that every time we went to BlackHeart. Obviously we'll talk about it more in depth, but yeah, it just seems like a lifetime ago.
Dude, that's it, man. We were talking back in the day, with the blue hair. Now you're looking the stylish sort of I want to say emo goth sort of, but still super dark. They can't be too dark. It's all good. You blue inside. That's what I've got.
Well,
you mentioned like I said, man, the Unleashed. Obviously, I talked to a lot of the guys at BlackHeart a lot. We had James on, aka Henry Winter, a few weeks ago.
Yeah, it was a good episode.
And why it stops. As a fan, I'm gutted, but I get the logic behind it. I get poor Ash was fucking busting his nut trying to sort of get everything sorted on a weekly basis, and it was just like impossible to do. So
poor Ash, poor me. I'm the one who has to deal with him when he's editing all this BlackHeart Unleashed content. I have to deal with his stress. It all gets unleashed on me, like.
It's like, right, I'm getting annoyed. Like, Sammy! Yes. I do love that, though. Obviously, when we had aka Gung Ho Muttley on, obviously your name came up in conversation. We was talking about, the stuff that you guys were doing at BlackHeart, just the friendship and the closeness and everything like that as well. Which I love that shit. I love it when you guys have kind of got that circle of trust, and you got people to lean on or help each other out or critique each other, help make each other better by being honest.
Yeah, I can't thank Muttley enough, and he'll probably watch this back and be like, ooh, getting all in his emotions. But like, he is my, like, on screen, what you see, Sammy Blue, Gung Ho Muttley, that's us. We are joint at the hip. And at this point, we're like, I can't speak. We're like synonymous with each other. I don't know if I said the word right, but we're just gonna roll on. Like I've had some of my best moments in wrestling, not even like in matches, just like training with the guys at like Fountains with him and training under Pete, and it's just a bond that I'm so grateful for, and it's lovely that we're able to take a bit of reality into like the crazy world of professional wrestling and show off our friendship on screen and like the synergy that we have, because like we finish each other's sentences sometimes. It's uncanny.
That's it. Like you say, you're managing to blur the lines, but then again, not to pull the curtain back too much and stuff like that, obviously, but you kind of got that friendship with Muttley, and you blowing the lines there, kind of between reality and wrestling. But again, anybody who knows or watched that episode, or watched the Jayrow episode, kind of knows how close all you guys are. And obviously, on screen, you and Billy have been having this feud. I'm Jayrow as well, for the last several months. And that's been a massive part of BlackHeart for me. I've been, I was tuning in every week, or tuning in to see the shows now, like the monthly shows. And obviously you ended with the 2 out of 3 pinfall match between you and Billy at the last, not the last one, but the last one that was on YouTube.
Yeah, the one that's just come out. Yeah. I remember talking about this feud before it happened. It was Billy's pitch for it to happen. And this was whilst Jay was the champion. So he had all this set on his mind, and he was talking to James and Loz and about how we can make it a reality. And it's been at that point, me and Billy, we hadn't had a match on screen. We had loads of training matches, and we had a real chemistry, but it hadn't translated to YouTube or any of the shows that we've been on. So thank God for BlackHeart Wrestling putting me in a ring with Billy O'Keefe, because that man, big love to Billy, big love to Jay as well, and Creed, all my boys. Love you all. But yeah, thank God for BlackHeart Wrestling for putting me and Billy in a ring, because similar to me and Muttley, but more on the wrestling acumen. Not to say that he's not one of my great friends as Billy, but in terms of in-ring chemistry, I don't think I've had that with anyone else. I feel we just get how each other click, and we understand how our minds work at the wrestling way, which is very helpful when we both have the same trainer and mentor in one show only. It almost makes sense, to be fair.
There we go. But I did kind of likened, because again, gone about BlackHeart a little bit more, but I've always, whenever I've had, Jepson on, I've had, like I say, Henry Winter and stuff like that, they're the larger than life characters. I kind of likened BlackHeart to WCW in the late 90s kind of thing, where you had your larger than life characters doing the main event, telling the stories. But then you had your Guerreros, your Mysterios, your Malenkos, on the mid card, just having absolute banger matches, which is what I kind of likened. I think I said it to you, at some point, I kind of likened yours and Billy's and Jayrow's matches to that kind of circa 97 WCW stuff.
Wow, thank you, mate. That is growing up watching Rey Mysterio and Eddie. That is a massive compliment, so I really appreciate it. And I'm sure the sentiment goes out to Billy and Jay Muttley and all them lot, because we obviously we're students of the game, and we can recognise how talented they are. So I appreciate you saying that, bud.
That's all right. Just kind of a little advertisement for the next episode. We've got Leone on Wednesday.
Yay! The bestie. There we go. Oh,
all right. It's worked out good. So we've got you and Leone on at the same week. So and obviously she was involved with yourself in the storyline in BlackHeart.
Quick story about Leone. So when I started wrestling again 2 years ago, I was training for I can't remember how long now, but the first show, here's the point. The first show that I got on was a small role, and I was put in a big faction with Leone. And the first thing that I did on the show was manage her in a match with MC2, who, as you know, is on the comms for BlackHeart Wrestling. And by the end of the night, me, Leone, a guy called Mikey Future, I've not seen him in a hot minute, and Cannon Hayes, another guy who I haven't seen in a hot minute, vintage BlackHeart right there, if we ever get the old stuff up. Him and Muttley's matches, insane. But yeah, the four of us really at the end of the show all standing together, and it's crazy how me and Leone are still here now, and I'm forever grateful for being like so kind to me during my early days when I was a little rookie. I'm not saying I'm not a rookie now, but back in my earliest days, baby Sammy just come out the womb.
Oh, I mean, she's looking after you. She's being kind. I'll be sure to mention that as well. I'm like, yeah, Sammy was saying that, you know, you kind of took him under his wing and looked after him and stuff. But I say that's the thing, you know, you like say you was all about it with like Billy and Gung Ho and Jayrow and stuff. You make these bonds, and it's these people you work with that it just obviously. I mean, you guys get to be wrestlers, you get to do this stuff, and that's amazing. But you get to do it with people that you care about and that you love and that you're close to, and that just makes it even better. It's just like,
yeah, it's the amount of joy that wrestling has brought me is insane. Like, if it wasn't for, like, not that I don't love wrestling, but like in the general sense, but if I didn't have these people, like, it definitely wouldn't be as fun, because these people are like going to a Blackheart show, seeing Muttley, seeing Jay, seeing Billy, seeing Creed, seeing Leone, seeing Chili, seeing T. We love Chili. We stand Chili here. This is a Chili loving house. But yeah, just seeing everyone. Obviously, like I can't name everyone, or else I would be here for the entire hour, me listing every single name at Blackheart and FCB and saying how much I love them. But yeah, like the amount of gratefulness I have for the people involved, especially like Loz and James, because they provide this space. They provide this space where I can make these friends. And 2 years ago, they gave me a chance when, again, I was baby Sammy Blue, when they didn't have to give me a chance. And I'm eternally grateful. So shout out to James and Loz.
there you go. But that's the thing, though, man. They say that, you know, they gave you the opportunity. They did that. But, you know, you've taken the ball and you've run with it, dude. You know, yeah, awesome for them. Thank you, you know, so much for the opportunity. But, dude, you know, you've taken that ball and you've run with it. You know, we were sort of saying, you know, the BlackHeart Fountain, there's, you know, like Kingdom. And it's not just that. You know, I remember you turning up with, you answered under a mask. So if people it was you, it was you, obviously. You know, El Bluzo.
It's not me. Hey, the commentary said that it's Simon Blue and not Sammy Blue. So that's a twin brother. Oh, the amount that Sean has ribbed me because the commentary getting my name wrong is hilarious. This big pivotal moment where you reveal, oh, it's one of Sean's trainees, and it's like, oh, hilarious. That was a great opportunity. JC, lovely guy. Obviously, maybe not in recent times in terms of like is boo. I won't say that because there's still an opportunity on the table. Simon Blue will be returned. But yeah, I had a great time at the show, and it was a great opportunity. And especially with that opportunity, because I was under a mask, it was quite a creative task into thinking, right, how can I make myself the most un-Sammy Blue possible? Like, how can I separate myself from me in a weird sense? So by having the name El Rojo, which is super red in Spanish, if you didn't know, having a mask on, which obviously, if you've watched BlackHeart, I know I'm yapping here. Apologies, going on a tangent once again. But if you watch BlackHeart, like I don't know how many months ago, Killjoy, great lad, love him to pieces. He wore a mask, and that's his mask that I'm wearing. And obviously, he has his logo on the mask. So I was like, right, how am I going to take this logo that doesn't apply to me at all and make it applicable to the story? So I told the commentary team to get over, which they did. So thank you to them. So it's like a smiley face with a cross in it. So just to clarify, El Rojo or Super Rojo is a masked wrestler who does not show his face. There's the point of the logo, to show you that he's definitely not a wrestler that shows his face. Just really hit it home. If you couldn't tell already, if you so yeah, I had a lot of fun with that as like a creative exercise.
Right. Well, two things. Firstly, dude, don't ever apologize for going off on a tangent. That is perfectly fine. The less I have to talk, the happier I am. People don't watch for me, they watch for you guys. So, dude, you want to talk for 20 minutes? Talk for 20 minutes. I'll just sit here. Secondly, the mask. Obviously, you know, when I spoke to Billy about wearing a mask, he was like, I fucking hate it. You know, I just hate it because it wasn't made for his head. Obviously, his mask was Horace's. Obviously,
Yeah.
for you. So did you have the same problem? Was it a case of like just kept slipping and you just like fucking hate this thing, or did you actually quite like it and it was quite liberating?
So it would definitely an experience. Obviously, like I have a lot of hair, so fitting all this hair underneath the mask and it still being like breathable was a challenge. Because at least like Billy, like with the Horus mask, his hair is out at the top and he has like a mouthpiece. I did not have that luxury. Luckily, like I didn't find it that bad. But if I were like a bit more claustrophobic, I can imagine I would have been like really stressing out. Like even in the back, like it wasn't that bad wrestling, but it was more like of a stress in the back waiting. I was like, right, because I had the option to do that. But when you're in there, it's like, okay, right, this is me now. I've got the mask on. I just have to deal with it. So
tempted just to do another version of the episode graphic though, and just put Supersonic Simon blue on the graphic for the episode. So
yeah.
it's better of me. But yeah, I can just imagine that, like even just walking to the ring, you know, when you got the mask on, if it's messing with your peripherals, you know, just even like, you know, that moment where you kind of walking, there's chairs around you. If it's it could just throw you off that little bit. I would be nervous as hell.
Yeah, well, if I did fall on a fan, which I can't recall, I am sorry if I did. I mean, if you're wrestling in a mask, then these are the dangers. Why do you think masked wrestlers are flying about all the time? Because it's not because the technical wizards in what they do. It's because like they just can't see.
Just go forward. Fuck it. Forward and backwards. That's it.
Yeah, I'm like Sin Cara circa 2011. Like I just can't do anything.
No, I'm not having that at all. That is a.
No, he's one of my boys. He's in my boys' table.
You mentioned before Fountain. Obviously, we'll shout them out as well. You know, because
Yes.
they are through BlackHeart, through Jepson. They're doing a lot of good stuff, and you've got a big match coming up.
I do. This Saturday at Fountain Church in Bradford, I'm against CJ Banks. Now, yeah, I know it's intimidating to say the least. Knowing what I know about CJ Banks, knowing what Pete has told me is like Pete bigs him up, and obviously he has all the credentials to back it up as one of the finest technical wrestlers that this country has ever produced. And having done a seminar with him, I mean, yeah, I mean, duh. So the fact that I get to wrestle this man in a main event match for a title that means so much for me, and for a company and a community that means so much to me is something that I'm eternally grateful for. That seems to be the theme of this episode, me being grateful. But I mean, what a lovely episode theme to have. But yeah, it's very high pressure situation. Obviously, I've wrestled Martin Kirby before. We talked about that last time, I remember, and that was a very high pressure situation. But obviously, this was over a year ago now, and I feel like I'm twice the wrestler now than I was back then. So I feel like I can hold up my end of the deal, and I can give the audience a good match and one that they'll remember.
Oh, dude, yeah, I mean, that is the perfect comparison. You know, like if you mentioned CJ Banks, you know, we mentioned it off camera kind of thing, where it's not somebody that's been around for the last few years, kind of like it's not been. So there might be people out there who've only just got into British wrestling that don't know the awesomeness, you know, CJ Banks kind of thing. This is a guy, you know, that hung with Martin Kirby, Chris Travis, Joey Hayes, Danny Hope, you know, back in the day. And he was on par with all of them, you know, technically and skill wise, you know, he is that good. So the Martin Kirby thing is very applicable, you know, and like you said, that was a while ago. Dude, you've come on leaps and bounds, you know, since that match. You know, you can more than hold your own, and you are more than capable of just going 100% and just, yeah, giving CJ a fucking run for his money, you know, and actually, you know, yeah, fingers crossed, man, you know, you will still have the belt afterwards, I'm hoping. But it's going to be a good match, definitely. People need to see it.
I'm hoping it's gonna, like, it's a very high pressure situation, and I want it to be the best it can be, not just for me, for Fountains, for the people that come to watch the show, that pay to watch. Like, I want to give them one of the best matches of my life, which is like last time with me and Muttley at Fountains for the Academy title. That's what me and Muttley set out to do, and I feel like, in my personal opinion, that's one of the best matches of my life. Again, credit, there's 2 people in that ring, 3 if you count the referee, which were great. Katie was great that night. I forget her last name, but Katie was lovely. Ref Katie, she's up at, we know who we're on about. But yeah, like, eternally grateful for the opportunity to face CJ, and hopefully I can provide. I hope this interview is enough of a selling point. I hope I'm selling it.
That's what I'm trying to do as well. But again, I don't want to sort of be like, oh, mate, you know, yeah, CJ Banks is awesome, and you being sat there like, oh, fuck, you know, the pressure. Right? No, mate, you know, it is awesome, but you are equally as awesome. So as much as I'm hyping him up, you know that I'm hyping you up as well, kind of thing. And yeah, you know, this is a match that is just, if I unfortunately can't get to Bradford very easily. I always have my son on a Sunday, kind of thing. If I could get there, I would fucking love to be there, watch this match. Hopefully I get to see it in some other way, shape or form. You know, I'll bribe Jepson to send me video footage if I have to. I need to see this match. That's how good it's going to be.
Well, it gets live streamed, so you can catch the live stream Saturday the 16th, I think it is this weekend. Yes. Oh wait, no, it's here. I've got a little post-it note there. Saturday 16th of November should be live streamed on FCB's Wrestling's YouTube, Facebook, all that jazz. So
awesome.
We'll get a link out there, and we'll be able to watch along party.
That'd be awesome. Turn it into a drinking game. I don't know. Every time you hit a Hurricanrana or flying crossbody, I'm like, drink.
Every time my arm gets snapped by CJ, take a shot.
To make you feel better. Like, yeah, Sammy's going to be hurting, but it's going to be awesome. Yeah, send me the link, and we will put it in the episode description. So obviously, if you're watching this before Saturday, which hopefully you will be, yeah, check the link out on Saturday, watch the match, support Fountain as well, because, you know, it is a great promotion. They're doing great things. Obviously, you know, we had Jepson on here. He's a lovely human being, and as well, you know, what he's doing, the community, the building as well is great.
Yeah, it's lovely what they're doing with the community, because obviously, like, as well as a wrestling show, it's a church, and they do a lot for the people of Bradford. Like, Wrestle Church, the one we did most recently, is a really, like, unique opportunity, because I've never worked one of the Wrestle Churches before, so it's a bit of a different format to, like, your normal wrestling show. There's a live band, there's a sermon or / a preach, and I remember before my match, listening to Andy talk to the masses, and he was using, like, movie analogies, I think he got like Monsters Inc. up on the screen at some point. I was listening. I can't remember the content now, but I was like, God, this is so wholesome. Like, this is lovely stuff. I'm chilling. I'm relaxed before this match.
Love it. I just imagine, yeah, just the whole sort of like being like, what a great film as well. I'm just trying to think of the different analogies. There's so many different things you could use that film for as examples of just niceness and, you know, just being wholesome and stuff like that. But I love that kind of stuff. I know, obviously, I've got to shout out, you know, Gaz has been on the show as well. I know I based in Bradford as well, very similar sort of thing. But yeah, it's just nice, you know, you kind of when wrestling can bring people together, you know, do stuff like this for the community. And if it spreads a good word, it spreads a good word, regardless of what you, as long as you take away something positive from it, you don't have to take everything away from it. But as long as you take one or two things away and it's just, you know, a bit of positivity, then yeah, I'm all for that stuff.
Yeah, well, I'm a regular on the Kingdom shows as well, and they're always a lovely environment, and they obviously do a lot for the community. Obviously them being intertwined at one point. But yeah, it's just like when you can go to these wrestling companies, like a Fountains, like a Kingdom, and even though they don't do like the same work, like BlackHeart, like all such wholesome places to like apply your craft and to perform. Another one, Breakout Pro Wrestling, love that place. I've only had the pleasure of going twice, but the people who run it, absolutely amazing. And we had a fun match recently. It was the Halloween show where I was in. This is another tangent, but I just think it's quite funny. This so there was the graphic out for this like Monsters Ball match, which is hardcore weapons all the globe. We've got Joel Cobra there. We've got Joel Cobra. We've got Ian Creed. We've got Bo Carter, and then we've got little zesty underdog Sammy Blue there, the ultimate monster of them all. I didn't know how to feel. I didn't know whether to be offended or I want offended at hilarious stuff. And weirdly enough, won that match. So I mean, you can't even like deny the results, really.
I remember seeing that poster and being like, oh shit, poor Sammy kind of thing. But then, yeah, like you say, man, just bosh, get the job done. But yeah, Breakout, obviously, again, you know, when we had Ash Muttley on, he was bigging them up. You know, he's got a lot of love for them as well. So it's all within like, you know, circles, you guys know each other kind of thing. And but yeah, I remember seeing that poster and being like, because obviously I know Joel, we've had Joel on, I've talked to Joel, I've known Joel for a few kind of thing, and I'm like, he's a big boy, you know what I mean? I was just like, oh. But yeah, dude, never underestimate the power of the blue, the underdog.
I try my best when I'm in there. I try to entertain and put on a show. But especially like for like talking about like the wholesome companies, like all the wholesome crowds that I've been getting recently, especially at BlackHeart, it's like such a like, as much as we're a community backstage, it's like a community when you're in there, when you're in the crowd. Like Jeebus and Nikki are there all the time now, and it's so lovely to see them in the crowd, and I know I've got their support like all the way, and their little one. I remember last show Isabel made a sign for Muttley. I was like, oh my god, that's like so wholesome. And the most recent Kingdom show, I got a sign made for me by a kid, and it's like what an industry. Like on the grandest scheme, it's like a full circle moment. I think about this a lot. It's like I would be nothing. I don't know what I would have without wrestling. So the fact that it's gone full circle, when I was a kid watching it with my granddad, watching Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair, WrestleMania 24, and the fact that I am able to perform for these kids and to have maybe even like just one of them throughout my entire career fall in love with professional wrestling, it's that, like, as much as I want to get far, and god damn it, I want to get far, like that's what it's about. That the bringing joy to like those kids and giving the families like a good like experience. That's what it's for. That's why like we train. That's why we do everything that we do. It's to give back.
Dude,
And that sounds corny as hell, but I'm going to say it regardless.
say it with heart, say it with feeling, say it once more with passion. Yes, that's it. No, that is amazing. Like you sort of said, dude, you know me well enough. I love this shit. I get really hyped up when it comes to, kids getting involved. Kids enjoying themselves. Kids like getting into wrestling. That's the next generation. That's people who we want to get excited about wrestling. We want them to be like really giddy about it and just get involved. And in James's case, make them cry.
Great first move as world champion of your company, by the way. Like, how do we sell this new babyface top guy to the company? Oh yeah, we're just gonna make a child cry in the intermission. Oh yeah, great tactic. He's gonna go over wonders.
I will never ever stop winding him up about that. That was just freaking. It's just prize. It's one of those moments you couldn't make up. It's like, yes, I'm now the face. I'm now the champ. John Cena moment. Let's get involved. And I've just made a child cry. Fuck. Right. Free t-shirts. Free t-shirts for everyone. You get a t-shirt. You get a t-shirt.
I have a feeling BlackHeart's going to do a few less raffles from now on because of that. Oh, well.
Is that Supersonic Sammy Blue doing work the left side? Hello.
Hello. What a lovely little
Oh my
surprise.
God. How are we doing? Obviously, that's quite low now. Hello, I thought I'd jump in. I could over here. You're talking about Henry Winter making children cry.
Yeah.
It's a what a topic.
How are things going? What's the discussion now?
We're talking about BlackHeart.
Yeah. Making people cry. We was talking about you previously, and we were just talking about breakout.
Yeah, good thing. So all good things.
Yeah.
About me, I hope.
Yeah. Don't tell him about what I was saying before, please. Don't.
Oh well, I will be watching the episode, so
If we could just leave this episode unlisted, like you can, we'll share the link with everyone apart from him, and then I think everything will be okay.
Oh.
So it was all about your little fan, your little wombat from the last class.
Yeah.
Isabel,
yeah. We was on about the canvas that she made.
Yeah, I'll show you the canvas. I'll get the canvas. You talk about something else, man.
Right. We're going to have to go on a little ad break for 2 minutes whilst Muttley gets the little canvas. But yeah, like when I found out he got it, it was so wholesome. It was so great. Like that's what wrestling is all about.
Definitely.
I can hear him racing up.
I'm running.
He's running.
This is it. It's incredible.
It's incredible stuff.
Genuinely, nearly cried.
Yeah.
When I got given this.
So good.
It's up on my wall currently.
Yeah.
So
it's got all the gang on it.
Yeah, you got Chili up there. I'm out of breath because that's how bad my cardio is. I shouldn't be a wrestler with cardio like this. That's Chili up there. Then you got Callum down there, who's flying, according to Isabel.
Hey, Callum does what Callum does.
Yeah.
She's
TC, who's really small. And then you've got myself, Gung Ho Muttley.
She's really accurate.
She spelled my name right, which is more than most of the people behind graphics for most companies I work for are able to do. So, very impressive.
Yeah, very good stuff.
But yeah, the Wombats have been great. It's been a lot of fun in BlackHeart.
Big up Wombats. We
Yeah.
love the Wombats.
I keep telling Nikki that she needs to just get like a t-shirt printed up with just a face of a wombat on the front of it for Izzy.
Yeah. Well, we are in talks to do Wombat shirts potentially.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I won't say too much.
Yeah. Count me down as your first customer.
Okay,
honestly.
okay.
I want the cropped version of the Wombat shirt.
Yeah,
I'm going to be wearing it proudly.
I think Isabel will probably be the first.
Okay.
The first customer.
I'm not right. I'll be the second customer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. Isabel can have first dibs.
Yeah. Yeah, I just thought I'd pop in. So you have fun.
Oh,
Continue
thank you.
talking. Won't make this a double interview. It does say Supersonic Sammy Blue.
Yeah, it's my name.
But,
well, no, it's Simon Blue actually. Simon, on about
yes, of course. Yeah.
Simon Blue.
But have fun. Lovely seeing you, Nick.
Good.
Adios.
Big up the Wombats. Yeah, sorry about that, Nick.
Oh,
He's
no.
he's really unprofessional, and I absolutely hate him with all my guts. No, obviously, I love the guy. I'm a real boy. No, I'm not lying. No. He's controlling what I say. He's controlling all the nice things I say about him.
It's the wombat power.
It's the back power. I mean, if any stable in any era of wrestling is going to have that power over me, it's going to be the West Yorkshire Wombats.
www.
Yeah, triple W. You could. That's a website. That.
Pretty much.
Oh, no, it's not even triple W, is it? It's WYW. West Yorkshire.
Oh yeah, no, I can ruin it now. No, I don't like that.
How did I get a uni degree? I don't know.
No, I want the triple W's. I don't like the Y. Just
Nah.
get out of there. West Wombats something.
West Wombats.
West Wombats worldwide.
Yes, worldwide Wombats.
That's really difficult to say. I'm not going to try and say that again 3 times.
Yeah, it's very Try and have the shots after the that CJ match, and then try saying that.
The test. That is the test. Like, right, have you had too much to drink? But hello. Right, say this really quick. Yeah, you've had too much. Stop it. Oh, fair enough. So, like, yeah, found the whole BlackHeart, everything like that. True Grits. Dude, I mean, obviously we're coming up towards the end of the year. Anything lined up that you can tell us about? Anything, like say we talked about Breakout. I know obviously you had the match there. Hopefully, you're going to be returning to Breakout at some point as well.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure. I know they wasn't able to go ahead with their December date. But I know they're returning next year. So I know I'm going to be on that because I've been told. So wherever you can catch Breakout, go follow Instagram, Facebook, all that jazz. Like, lovely place is Breakout, and the people who run it, Matthew and Ben and all them lot. It's just a lovely place to be.
That's the thing. So I think there's more and more promotions popping up as well. That I just imagine. I can just see you. Again, since the last time we spoke, your booking, your radius is kind of expanding. I think it's only going to expand more and more and more. I know the True Grit thing was a one-off under a mask, but dude, I wouldn't be surprised at some point if, forget Simon, Sammy at some point in 2025. They are very good at having people come in, after a smaller thing. Obviously, they did the whole Billy's basically made his mark there.
Yeah.
I've seen Gung Ho working security around the ring occasionally. So
I mean, you're gonna recognise that mullet. I mean, it's pretty hard not to.
That was the first thing I clocked. I think that was the Thursday night show. I was watching it on YouTube live, and I literally looked down and looked up, and it was just walking past the camera, and I was like, screenshot. Yeah, I fucking know that mullet. Right. Yeah.
It's certainly recognisable.
Yeah. So, but yeah, dude, I mean, obviously there's just, I've got to be careful because there's so many promotions out there, but it doesn't mean that all of them are good. But I know obviously, Pete will steer you in the right direction. You know what you're doing. I'm expecting you to start popping up on more and more of the real, the good promotions kind of thing.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm working towards. Like, obviously, like you can never like learn too much, and like I'm trying to be the best version of myself so I can get on those shows and like showcase what I can do and put on the best performance that I can, like given whatever role they want me in. Like, obviously I've helped out with True Grit before. I had that role as both Super Rojo and Simon Blue. I mean, what an academy performance from me that night. That's 2 different characters. It's never done before in the history of wrestling. I mean, to be fair, Mick Foley in that Rumble way played all 3 of his characters. Yeah, so he's got me beat there, but I'm a close second. Even
to be mentioned in the same sentence, though, dude. You know what I mean? That's not to be besmirched. In a sentence, we basically just said Supersonic Sammy Blue and Mick Foley. That's it. Just you two.
I mean, I'm the one that mentioned me in the same sentence. So we really need to check my ego here in terms of our...
Yeah, if you hadn't, I was going to bring that up. I was going to say the only person I could think of was Mick Foley in the '98 Rumble. So if you hadn't have done it, I was going to do it.
Yeah, I mean it's a classic example. So yeah, good stuff. But yeah, hopefully I can get a chance. I remember being reached out to not so long ago by JC to work the Pride show. And I couldn't do it because it was on the same day as Evolution on Fountains. And like as sad as I was to have to turn that down, because like there were some great queer names on there that like would be like an honor to work alongside. And obviously there's like guys like Tyler Adams who I've worked at Wrestle Island and like see how they perform, and they're great. Also shout out to Tyler Adams. Like the Fountains means that much to me. It's like even like with an opportunity like that, it's like this is my baby, this is my child. Like I like it means so much to me, and I know it means so much to the people who also mean so much to me. So it's like I wanna go in there and have like the time of my life, and I did. I had 2 fun matches. One with Hawaiian Joe, great guy, great character, hilarious, and I got to work Ian Creed and Mark in the main event, and I know how much that match means to him, and it means a hell of a lot to me as well. I love Mark. Shout out to Ian Creed. The custody of Creed match had me on the edge of my seat in the balcony watching along. I was so invested, screaming at the top of my lungs, trying to be incognito in my black hoodie and joggers. I was like, go on, Creed, go on, you kill him, smack him out.
Mate, I popped huge for that because you can ask Ash. I've been talking to him about it previously, you know, and Mr. Ricky, I was just like, oh man, he's got to come back at some point. Oh, you know, I know it's kind of it dipped a little bit, but they managed to pull it back. Everybody involved did such a good job, you know, pulling it back, lifting it back up, you know, carrying the story on. And then obviously, yeah, Mr. Ricky turned up at the end, and I was like, yes. And he came back as a face. I was just like,
yeah,
that's wrestling. That, you know, it got a genuine reaction out of me. I popped huge, and I was just like, yes, that is the biggest compliment I can give to everybody involved in that storyline. That it delivered. You know, that final moment was just like fucking sliced fried gold.
Yeah, I love it. It really like that storytelling, like through and through, and like big credit to like the people like who were behind that storyline. Like I know obviously that storyline was kind of like Ash's Muttley's baby at the time, and he put so much work into that. And I know Mark thinking about like what would his character do in all like the promos and in the match. Like he's a really like Ian Creed Mark Rolls thinks so much about how his character would perform in like a professional wrestling setting. It's admirable. Like having a conversation with him about like his character's motivations and why he would do certain moves over like other ones is fascinating. And also he's just a good laugh, and he loves a good boat museum, as the stories do tell. He bloody loves them boat museums.
I love that bit, that little bit of information though, like you sort of said, why the character would do this move over this move. It's psychology, man. Some people don't think about stuff like that, and that's the kind of stuff that it makes a difference. You know, people pick up on it, and it doesn't distract away from the story. It just pulls you into the story more, and it just, yeah, man, like huge props for him. You know, just those little details, those little thoughts, the process and the journey. I think it's very underappreciated.
Yeah, it's admirable. Like to the way he approaches his character, and like I have like ideas that I want to do down the pipeline, like about like different versions of Sammy that I want to do, and like I'm taking him as an inspiration. No, I'm not doing anything. I'm not saying anything. But like that, my point is that like the way he thinks about it, about Ian Creed, the way Mark Rolls thinks about Ian Creed is the way I want to think about new versions of Sammy. 'Cause,
No, I won't ask for any information. I'll just sit here excited, waiting to see what happens, kind of thing. But I just remembered as well, I wanted to bring this up. You must have been well hyped, obviously, because anybody who watched the first episode, who knows you train at the Temple. You train under, obviously, Sean Only. It was a couple of months ago now, obviously, but BlackHeart and Wrestle Island seem to have popped. And, they brought a load of people over from the Temple to BlackHeart. And mate, you must have just been like, yes, come into my house. This is where, you're here now.
Oh, all my boys. We had Stan. Stan is an incredible human being. Lovely. And obviously, Candy Stan. What a character. Like, the same sort of application with the Creed, what I was on about with Creed applies to Stan. Like, way to have a concept and just really do the most with it. Like, the latest Wrestle Island show, I think, is based around Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Like, and we know that's not because of, like, Sean Only. Like, he's not. Have you seen his body? He's not eating chocolate. So the fact that he's really, like, made the most of the character. EJ Walsh, incredibly talented. Like, I haven't had the chance to, like, wrestle him on the show yet, but seeing him in training every time I'm there, absolutely phenomenal wrestler, great mind for the business. And Gala, I love Gala. Gala is throws a hell of a clothesline. And I've done some of my best work with Gala, and unfortunately, it's not on any, like, it's not on a BlackHeart or a Fountains or a Wrestle Island, but hopefully one day me and Gala can show off what we can do, because he's another guy that I feel like we just understand each other, like, to a certain point where it's like, yeah, this just works, and we're going to put on a hell of a match.
Dude, because, well, yeah, we kind of mentioned beforehand, that's how we got introduced, kind of thing. It was a case of the two Joshes, kayfabe, sorry.
That is fine.
Pete both basically, shouted you both out to me and be like, right, you need to talk to these two. And it was yourself and Gala that, I had pretty much, I think I had on here like a week apart, kind of thing, or might be a couple of weeks apart, depending on availability. But yeah, you two guys were, like, Pete's like, right, yeah, you need to speak to these guys. So I've always kind of wanted to see, the both of you in the ring, because again, like I sort of said, it's that contrast, but it just, the styles would work so well, and they do. Like you said, it's just nobody else has been able to see it as an audience member. I
mean, like, for me in wrestling, like, we always go on about, like, cruiserweight versus cruiserweight, giant versus giant. It's like different styles that, when they mesh together, I think makes for the best wrestling. Like, the classic big man, little man story is like a very, like, established pro wrestling sort of story. Like, and you can do that, like, either with no build, just sit, like, if I wrestled Jepsen, for example, like peak BlackHeart champion arsehole Andrew Jepsen, obviously, and Andy is a lovely guy. Wouldn't want to get on his bad side. And obviously, you look at me, like, obviously, I'm not Andrew Jepsen in terms of, like, massive guy. So I feel like inherently, like, you see me and you see Jepsen, and, like, you got to root for the little guy. Like, I'd do it if it were Jayrow, even though, like, Jayrow's got the motor mouth of, like, no one I know, and we love him for it. Like, still, we got to root on Jayrow versus Andy, just because it's like, this is the classic story. If you see a guy on the side of the street fighting a massive guy and he's tiny, like, who are you going to root for? Like, I think that's the old adage that I think Jim Cornette told this story once, and then that's pro wrestling.
Yeah,
I've told it in an awful way because I'm not Jim Cornette. I'm Simon Blue, established as this interview, but
talking to you if you was Jim Cornette, I'm like, Jim, fuck off. Go on. So if anybody wants to come at me in the comments for that, feel free. But no, you're right. I mean, that is it's not just wrestling 101. It's fucking biblical, mate. That's like one of the earliest stories ever told. You can't relate or get invested in a David versus Goliath storyline. That's why they've done it in wrestling so many times. You know, Kevin Nash versus Rey Mysterio.
Yes.
So I don't know, AJ Styles versus Brock Lesnar, kind of speed versus strength. You know, not so much big guy, little guy, but it's still the premise was there. You know, the emphasis of it's speed versus strength. That's it at its core, basically.
It's always intriguing to me because, like, obviously I'm working a lot of those matches. It's intriguing to me how they approach it and like what they do in terms of like the story for like this little guy to like beat the massive like Brock Lesnar type, and like watching those matches and trying to like, okay, what can I overwhelm him? Like, am I gonna do like 2 minutes of running around trying to like escape him, and he hits me with one line, and I'm like, right, I'm done now. Right, I'm taking a nap. Is that the story we're going for?
There's different options though. That's the thing. Is, you know, you can always go down different routes, can't you? You know, it's not set in stone what you got to do.
Oh yeah, definitely not. It's like there's a lot of, obviously with professional wrestling, like there's a lot of leeway with what you can do. It's like we're given the match and the parameters, and we get to build whatever story we want in there. It's like that ring is our canvas, and we're making like art. It's it's beautiful telling these stories. Like, and even if they are a bit stereotypical, like the big guy versus little guy, who cares? It works. Like, it's a trope for a reason. Like, and I'm not going to escape the big man, little man matches as well, unless I can grow to Sean only size, which I mean, that's gonna take time. Give me a couple of years. Give me some time.
Get some special boots, or just some heel lifts.
Yeah, well, eventually down the line, Sammy Blue is going to become 2 12-year-olds in a trench coat. That's the idea.
I don't know if you ever watched Scrubs, but I just got a giant doctor in my head now. The giant doctor thing. But that's it, though. That's the thing, you know, like, you know, but again, that storytelling, that is, you know, I've spoken to people on both ends of the big guy, small guy kind of thing. And all results, you know, all you're doing, it's so simple, but, you know, you're working towards, I don't know, the big guy getting slammed, or even, obviously, you know, if that's not doable, just getting knocked on his arse. You know, like if you're dashing him out for 10 minutes, like constantly trying to hit him, he's waving, no, or he's going down to one knee, then he's back up.
Exactly.
As soon as you knock him down, mate, the fans, if you've done it right,
it creates a response.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to do the most insane, like, batshit, like, stunts to get a professional wrestling crowd on your side. If you tell a good story that they understand, like, you can do that. And it, like, with the example you just gave, you can do that with one bump, like one proper big back bump.
Yep.
And that's all you need. Whereas me, I'll be bumping all over the place because I bloody love it. I go to the Shawn Michaels versus Hulk Hogan school of overselling sometimes.
Dude, I love that shit. You know, I'm one of those guys. I was totally pro Shawn. I was like, yes, fucking love this. I was howling. But yeah, you know, be warned. You know, it's a case of like, yeah, Sammy, just chill. You know, we don't want to.
I know you're having fun in there, but I remember after the triple threat I had with Jay and Leone to try and make out that I'm woozed from Jay's massive headbutt, I just decided to do a little flip to the side. It's like, yeah, I've tried to get up and I fell over in the most creative way possible.
That's it, dude. But that's the thing, though. It's just, yeah, you know, have fun with it. You know what works. You know what I mean? I'm just kind of sat here and I'm just like, again, you know, we can big Pete up, or, you know, Sean, and sort of say, you know, he's not going to do. You've learned from one of the best, so you know, you do what you do, and it'll be awesome. So I'm just trying to think. I'm just trying to think of like you against. I've just got you in big man matches now, kind of thing. I'm just imagining it's like I want to see. I had Horace on last week, and again, same sort of thing. I was talking to him about he had a match against Tim Strange, and I was just like, oh God, I'm just now imagining like, yeah, Sammy Blue versus Tim Strange, or you know, something like that. I'm like, Jesus, work. So,
that could be very fun. To go back to Sean though, like obviously I've been very praiseful of like Muttley and all that, I wouldn't be here having achieved anything that I have like achieved in the past year and like before that if it wasn't for Sean. I am like, again, the theme of this episode is gratitude and slagging off Muttley when he's not here, which and talking about Winter making kids cry. But yeah, I'm so eternally grateful for everything that he's done for me, and like I couldn't pay it back even if I tried. And it's just an incredible human being, and like Muttley will attest to this, Jay will attest to this, Billy will, Mark will, like we all are so grateful for, and I know he'll be watching. Like, hi, you all right, mate? Love you. But yeah, I'm so eternally grateful for him, and hopefully there's still more Sammy and Shaw matches down the line, because like watching his brain work in a match is like coming up with like ideas and stuff like that. It's great stuff. Watching his most recent match with Muttley on BlackHeart recently, I was just like, yes, this is fun.
I haven't seen that yet. Obviously, the last thing I saw was Sean coming in and getting involved and doing Muttley over kind of thing, and I was just like, what the hell? So obviously that's led somewhere. So I'm looking forward.
Yeah, it's the end of I think it's the episode before. I think it's like the main event of the first half of that show. It's Muttley and Sean, and it goes at. I'm gonna plug it, watch it. Good stuff. It goes in an unpredictable, un-Sean only like way near the start. Intriguing.
I've got home. I just jumped straight to you and Billy, unfortunately. So I do need to go back and watch it all in full. But I just literally I cheated. I just jumped straight to the main event. I was like, yes, I need to see this match again. So
I'll take the compliment all day.
yeah. Shout out to Dan James and Sam Mercer as well. I kind of said Mercer, I skipped their match as well, so I need to go back and watch them, because obviously, the armbar superstar Dan James is back in the I know James was super hyped to have him back. Is it somebody that you're kind of you picking his brain a little bit?
Definitely. Again, like training with Sean, like Dan comes along from time to time, and obviously he's such a great mind to pick from, and like we've had a couple of situations like when we're training where we're having like these matches, and he's such a pleasure to be in there and work with, and obviously he's like a cartoonish villain. It's almost admirable, like his dedication to the bit, and like they're endlessly entertaining. And I know soon, obviously I don't want to spoil anything too much, but I know there's definitely plans for me to have a match with him or on a show of some kind. So
dude, you've got the belt to defend now. You got a target on your back. You're gonna have your left, right, and center.
Well, it depends where it's for. It could be at BlackHeart, could be at Fountains, could be I could fight him in the garden. He's not. He's an awful fella. He's a classic baddie move.
It's for the guy you feel good to boo. That's the thing. I love that in wrestling. There's very few people that you just genuinely like. I was on about it with like Nathan Black, like when he turns his heel game on, it's like no part of me ever wants to cheer that guy. The same with Dan James, the dude's technically like class, but no part of me ever wants to cheer him. He's not one of those cool heels where you just like, I respect you, I'm going to cheer you anyway. It's like, no, mate, I'm going to freaking boo you out of this building because you're a twat and I hate you.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you love to hate him. Relationship with Dan. Obviously, I'm not really at PPW, so I don't know like Nathan to the extent that you do. But like seeing Dan, he's just like, I can't cheer. I'm entertained, but I cannot cheer this behaviour. Like poor Seb. Like Seb's working hard in there, and you're screwing him over with like a rubber ducky. And 16 different chains tucked into your like trunks, like out, ridiculous.
It's just despicable. That's what it is.
Despicable.
Despicable.
No, he's I love him. He's great.
Yeah, that's it, man. It's another brain, you can kind of tap. Like I said, I remember, I've been around long enough. I remember like the Holy Trinity, what I used to call the Holy Trinity of Leeds wrestling, which was Liam, Pete, and Dan kind of thing at one point. Those guys. So to have Pete and Dan, kicking about, and kind of, I can imagine. I don't know how close they still are. Hopefully, they're still, really good mates, kind of thing. But I can imagine being able to pick both their brains and kind of pit them against each other. It kind of would be a fun situation.
There definitely are some like fun conversations about like wrestling stuff, and like we all take the same car up to Ireland. We've got like 1.5 hours to kill, so like we go through so many different topics, and it's such like a delight. So like sometimes I'll just like kick back and just listen, because it's like listening to this. It's like a little podcast. I'm just listening to like these like great wrestling minds just like speak their opinions and like why they believe it, and it's just good stuff. I just find myself giving it a listen.
That again, though, I've said it before, that's wrestling 101. How many times? I know you're like me, man. You read autobiographies, you've watched like the documentaries on just anything wrestling related kind of thing. You read the autobiographies of like, your Steve Austins, your Mick Foley's, the old school guys, and they've got endless stories of being sat in a car, especially in their early days.
Yeah.
And listening to people, the vets kind of thing, the experience work, the hands kind of thing. And they just sit back and they said that was up there with like any of the best classes they ever went to. They got some of their best information, or they learnt more sometimes from just being sat in a car.
Yeah, the knowledge coming from them too is like it's like a fountain of like apropos for the training at fountains, but it's such a delight to be in their company and just to learn so much like all the time. Like you really have to. There's no shutting your brain off. Like you can't relax in that car. You have to be like right attention at all times. Like it's like you're almost driving 10 and 2, and like you're driving the knowledge into your head.
That's the thing. I just again, it's that kind of shit that just makes me smile. I just, just being able to just imagine you just being sat in the back of the car, just with a big smile on your face, just soaking it all in, just be like, yep, give me more. It's kind of like being plugged into the Matrix or something. And at the end of the car journey, it's like, I know wrestling now.
Yeah, well, we figured it out, guys. I'd taken the blue pill, and
I asked you this last time, and if it's still the case, are you still able to? Watch wrestling. You're even more into it now than you was last time when we spoke. Are you still, obviously you're a fan of wrestling because you're doing it, but are you still able to watch it? Are you still able just to turn your mind off and enjoy it as a form of entertainment, or is it just becoming more and more like homework?
That's a good question. I definitely I try to analyze stuff as much as I can when I'm watching wrestling. Because obviously, like if you're watching, like as we was talking about before, like the late 90s WCW, it's like as much as sometimes it's like you're watching it, it's like okay, right, you're taking notes. Oh my god, what just happened? Like what the hell? How was that possible? Ray, what are you doing to your poor little body? No wonder he's had surgeries 5 times in his left knee. Like oh my god, like he at the core, like I'm still a fan. Like, and I'm watching and I'm popping. It's like the last BlackHeart show, like, no spoilers because it's not out on YouTube yet. But I was watching Pete. I was like, go on, Pete. You get him. Kill him. And it's like, I can't help but like, and like I was on about earlier with the Custody of Creed, it's like, I love stories. I love characters. It's like, I love the athleticism and all the impressive stuff, but without stories, like we're just doing gymnastics in our underwear. Like it's just great. Like and watching like the product at the minute, like on a larger scale, like WWE is like they're on fire right now. I don't watch so much AEW, but like I watched quite a lot of TNA at the start of the year, like from Hard to Kill when they rebranded. Some great stuff. Watching like Ospreay, Alexander, and their 5-star match. That was great. just like so much good wrestling out there. And as much as you want to analyze and like take down like 6 pages worth of notes like for this like 6-minute match, you also want to like just be in awe. You want to be like a kid again.
Yeah, that's it. That's the thing. That's why I kind of like to ask that question, because some people are like, I can't watch it as much now. Or the main consistent thing is when you've watched a good match, because mate, you ain't touched that pen or paper. You've literally just been like, the match is finished and you're like, oh shit, I didn't actually jot anything down. I didn't actually think, to make any notes, man. I was just that invested. And it's just nice to know that wrestling can still do that. Even though you're so heavily involved, or the inner workings of it, it still grabs you and it still makes you feel it. It brings out those emotions in you.
Yeah, it's like most recently, like the go-to guy for me for that, and it's like obviously he's an incredible wrestler, one of the best in the world. But Sami Zayn, watching like his stuff with Gunther and watching his stuff with Roman last year, and like all the story going into that, is like I cried to both of those matches. And I remember watching Sami and Gunther and like saying to Muttley, like, okay, this is a big inspiration behind our Fountains match. Like, because obviously Gunther's beating the hell out of Sami in that match. And if you've watched the Fountains main event, Muttley is really going to town on me. I mean, I felt it. I'm like, he really like, yeah, a lot of them, a lot of suplexes, a lot of all that jazz. And like, I remember being at work on my lunch break with other people in the room and watching Sami and Gunther and crying. I'm like, oh god, this is a bit embarrassing.
Wrestling, baby.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I'm emotionally invested. There's a lot of good stuff going on. Probably that match and like Punk Drew from Bad Blood, my matches of the year. Most definitely.
I haven't seen that yet, but I'm kind of love Drew. I used to be the biggest mark for Punk, and I've kind of, I don't know. He's kind of, don't want to get into a whole massive Punk thing. He's kind of tainted for me now, and I'm a bit like, fuck. But I've heard nothing but good stuff about that match, so I will check it out at some point. It's on my radar, and I want to watch it because it's Drew. I kind of don't want to watch it because it's Punk, but I'm like, I used to love Punk. If Punk can make me feel that again, then God, yeah, awesome. So, but yeah, dude, and like I said, it's just the storytelling, it's the emotion. Last thing, and I'll let you get gone, dude. But I just wanted to shout out. We'll give Ash we'll give him some more flowers.
Yeah.
What I loved about Unleashed when it was doing the weekly stuff was one of my highlights from the whole run. You and Gung Ho were doing like the sporting competitions. You'd be out playing tennis or you'd be out running. Mate, I just wanted to shout those moments out. I just thought that was awesome. And you was on about storytelling. And that, again, that's wrestling for me. These backstage promos. It must have been cool for you to kind of get to stretch your legs, pun intended, and sort of work on stuff like that.
Yeah, it was one of the highlights of my year. Like, definitely. Like, I know it was such like a little like passion project for Muttley, like those segments, and obviously like me and him being so close, like he's gonna invite me along. We're gonna have a good time. Like the training montage, like the initial one where it's like we're both in the play park and we're both doing like a sort of like Rocky-esque thing where like, because in the film he's like boxing the piece of like a meat, and I'm there with like a packet of mints, and he's going like that. Even like the bit where like he's flexing to the camera, and I show up. I'm like, "You right? I'm here now." And he's like, "Why?" I was like, "I don't know. I'm just here. Got hat on. I won't be cold." It's like so fun, and I remember like him and like me partially, but I also like I had belief in him and his vision, but he was worried about like the response it was going to get, and he knocked it out of the park and everyone loved it. And we did like a couple of more of them. We did one to hype a match that we had at BlackHeart, and yeah, they were all around just fun times. Just love doing stuff like that.
I think that's what the weekly episode thing, it gave you the opportunity to do, and I think more places it would be cool to see it. You know, I love that kind of, you know, just the goofing around, the connection, the genuine sort of vibe that you guys gave off, and it's just fun, and it just makes it pulls me in more for the match kind of thing. It's the stupid ass fun stuff before the match that makes me care more about the match. So fingers crossed, man. Like I said, you know, I think more places need to. I don't know whether they, you know, if they can film it and run it on like a screen before a match. So you know, if they don't have the weekly, you know, option, it's just it shows another side of you guys. It makes the fans care a bit more.
Yeah, it's definitely like we're putting all the effort into like building the story, and obviously if you haven't seen Unleashed like beforehand, it like I wouldn't say like harms your experience, because we try and like cater it to obviously the paying crowd in that night, but there might be some nuances in there like you might not understand, like, so yeah, that I see your point of like, yeah, it would definitely benefit for like, here's a quick hype package of why this match exists. Have fun with that for 2 minutes.
That's it, exactly. But dude, yeah, obviously thank you so much for coming on. I had an absolute blast, dude. Let people know where they can find you on the socials. Let them know, obviously, well, basically, so they can see what shows you've got coming up. You know, we've talked about this Saturday and all the other future shows. Yeah, let them shout you out on the socials.
So Instagram and Facebook, Supersonic Sammy Blue. I know it's a very wordy name, but you know, very, very fun to say. It rolls off the tongue. This Saturday, obviously, FCB Wrestling. I'm against CJ Banks, defending my academy title. Should be a good match. Should be a lot of good matches on that show. A lot of good lads on it. From a good company run by good people. So catch that. FCB on Facebook, Instagram, all that jazz. There'll be links everywhere. BlackHeart Wrestling, first Sunday of every month. Obviously, like BlackHeart is one of my homes as well as FCB. First Sunday of every month. I think next month is literally on the first day. So I might be pulling that out of my ass. So apologies, I get dropped in my head a lot. So in terms of remembering information, but yeah, always love BlackHeart. Breakout Wrestling going to be back next year. Great shows, great environment, great people. Again, lovely, wholesome wrestling, and then yeah, saw my stuff.
Dude, obviously, you know, we'll tag you in everything. I'm sure Ash, our Insta guy, will drop you a message in the morning to make sure everything is good. But if you're not following, you know, Sammy on the posts, you know, please, you know, hit follow, show him some support. If you see Sammy on a show near you, go to the show, buy a ticket, show some love, cheer when you're meant to cheer, boo when you're meant to boo, but just have a smile on your face because it's wrestling and it's awesome. As always, you know, everybody watching, hit like, subscribe, share, comment, do all the generic stuff that I ask every episode. As mentioned earlier, I am back on Wednesday with Leonie Rose, and triple duty this week. Triple duty is on Friday. It's rescheduled from last week. This Friday, I will be joined as well by DJ King and Bobby Cash as we look at WCW 2000. So we are watching it, so you don't have to. So you can thank us. Mate, it's an awful. I've watched this. Super Bowl. We won Super Bowl. It's hard work, mate. Seriously, it's hard work to watch this one. So, but Sammy, mate, honestly, genuinely, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you,
just so hyped. So I will sign off. So thank you for watching, and remember, always work the left side.